David. I'm so glad that you're here. This is so exciting.
You can't be any more excited than I am right now.
Oh my gosh. So if y'all don't know, David Shands is the founder of The Social Proof. Is it Social Proof or The Social Proof?
Social Proof.
Social
It's actually real social proof, but yeah.
Yep. Let me say it right. So for those of y'all who don't know, David Shands is the founder of Real Social Proof, and I've been on his podcast twice.
Oh, yeah.
He always gets to interview me.
Mm-hmm.
And today on The Power of 1 Million, I get to interview him.
I'm so excited because you interview millionaires, right?
I do.
I'm just excited to be invited. Like, I got an invitation. This is crazy. I'm excited.
Can you believe it? Like, you're sitting here and I'm interviewing you because you've reached 1 million.
Man, it's almost, I would say on one hand, it's like surreal, like, dang, we are here, but there was no like skyrocket. So it's literally like, it's almost like getting taller as a kid. You're growing and you just, one day you look up and you're 5 feet tall. You're like, oh, wow. But it didn't feel like yesterday I was 3 feet and now I'm 5 feet, right? Yeah. So it's just been a constant grind. And then I get in your presence and I'm like, I got so much work to do. So I'm not entirely there yet. So
I'm so proud of you, though.
Oh, thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
One of the things that like always makes me feel so good about you is you're just so welcoming. Like when I see you, you're smiling, you give me a big hug, you're like, hey. And just your character, like you are a good man, you're a good husband, a good father. Like I just am so proud of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's not much to be sad about, especially if you go to a third world country and you see those people, they're happy. I'm talking about they wake up every day and their mission is to eat today. It's not like to build another business, make another million. It's like, how do I wake up and feed my family today? But when you talk to them, they're so excited. Like we went to Jamaica, right? The kids are so happy, and the adults, they put together, they weave bracelets and they're selling to you, but you could feel that they're happy, right? But there are people that here you can make 6 figures, you can make $1 million, and because somebody else is doing better, it's like, I'm not happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I try to keep that in mind that God has blessed me so abundantly, and not even today for what's happening today. I remember working at the Cheesecake Factory thinking, God has blessed me so abundantly.
Now you were working in the Cheesecake Factory, but it was a long time, right?
Yeah, 6 years.
6 years.
6 years.
And then what made you do a pivot from the Cheesecake Factory?
Well, it wasn't really a pivot. I always was an entrepreneur. I just started, stop. I'll just start, quit, and I just always be doing different businesses. And when I got the job at the Cheesecake Factory, before then, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm doing network marketing. I'm selling product. I'm selling whatever I can to make some money. And I was working at Olive Garden for about 10 months.
Okay.
And then when I got the job at the Cheesecake Factory, I thought to myself, like, man, I don't think I've ever had a job past 10 months. So I worked at Applebee's before that. I worked at Circuit City. I worked at all these jobs. And then I started thinking, dang, I've never really stuck in a business longer than 10 months. And then I started to think to myself, you know what? I'm looking back at all my past relationships. I never stayed in a relationship past 10 months.
Do you think this was a commitment thing, like a commitment phobia, or what?
Absolutely.
Stick it out.
I was a quitter. So imagine when I get to the Cheesecake Factory, I'm still entrepreneurial minded, but for some reason, God gave me the sense to say, yo, you need to sit down. No entrepreneurship right now. Stay here. Mm-hmm. And I told myself I would stay here at least a year. And I wound up being there 6 years. But I believe the key to the success that I have now and kind of like getting out of the Cheesecake Factory with my t-shirt brand is because I made the decision to stay somewhere. I just never stayed anywhere, so I just kept going from thing to thing.
So there's a couple things I want to touch on. So I know you started your t-shirt brand and that you had a mentor talk to you while you were at Olive Garden. It's kind of cool that we're friends because I didn't know all your stories. But what you just said of I was a quitter is super powerful.
Yeah.
Like, talk to the people who are quitters. How do they stop being quitters?
You stop quitting. I mean, we know anything you do that is moving towards a positive direction at some point won't feel good and you will want to quit anything. You can have an amazing relationship. There's going to be a period in that relationship where you want to quit. In your mind, you're thinking like this one, either this can't last or you're going to find something wrong with it. Because when it looks like we're attaining the dream, we think it's supposed to be perfect, then it's not. So however long the last business you tried was, just tell yourself you'll be in this new business, this new product, this new service, whatever this is, just double that time. And you will see so many fruits of the labor, period. I saw it in my relationship. Every relationship is perfect. This person's perfect. But then it gets to a point where I just don't like you that much. I don't like you as much today as I did yesterday. So I would quit on the relationship.
And just let it go.
But yeah, it's who I was though. Like my job, my relationships, my businesses, everything. Quit.
Do you feel like there was something like in your background that caused you to be that way?
I didn't die. Like it wasn't like when you quit, you don't die.
Now there's no consequences?
No consequences. There aren't any. You just quit. So you start a diet, right? Mm-hmm. You do it for a little while, and then you say, you know what? I'm gonna have a cheat day. I'm off. I'll start it. You just find yourself off, and you don't die. It's just mad easy to quit.
Is it harder to stick it out?
Oh, you know that.
I mean, I know, but I want to hear from you because you were the quitter.
For sure.
It was like, I'm never gonna quit. I'm gonna make this work. It's gotta work.
Yeah.
I stay in stuff too long because I'm the other side of that.
Really?
I'm the person that this is horrible. I need to give it up, but I'm gonna prove that I can do it. So I stay in stuff way too long.
Yeah, I probably had people enabling me. So the other people around me, they were quitters too. Or I'm the ambitious one, and then my friends or the people that I'm around aren't as ambitious. So when I quit, they don't even notice. They just say, let's go have a drink. Let's go out.
Or they encourage it. Like, yeah, you should have quit. That's all right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But then the key, the secret, I think we can stop this interview after this bar, okay?
I'm ready.
It is your environment. It is your environment. It's like, it's hard to do the wrong thing in the right environment. Conversely, it's hard to do the wrong thing in the right environment. Meaning, let's say, for instance, let's say you smoke, right? There's 5 people at a table and we all smoke. We're passing the smoke around. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't smoke, it's hard to say no.
Because everybody's doing it.
Yeah, everybody's doing it. You're like, nah, I'm good. They're like, yo, come on, it's Friday. You don't got nothing to do. And it's hard. It's hard in that environment. On the flip side, let's say, for instance, you smoke and you're at a table with people who don't smoke. It's really hard to spark one up. Mm-hmm. It's hard. You don't.
They ain't doing it.
Yeah, you're not, because you'll be like, dang, I wonder if they smoke. I'm not going to do it right now. So your environment will change you before you change it. And I think the biggest thing that happened to me was I got in an environment where quitting wasn't cool.
Amen.
Yeah.
How did you get into that environment?
It started with me, it started with personal development. So I started listening to this. I got in touch with this guy. Not in touch with him, but somebody exposed me to a CD. The man's name was Jim Rohn.
I don't know him.
You don't know Jim Rohn?
I don't.
Oh my gosh. Jim Rohn? You heard of Jim Rohn? Oh my gosh. He had these philosophies on success. Like that was Tony Robbins' coach. Like, I mean, he's, oh my gosh, I saw, it was a CD, I listened to it, I said, yo, I am hooked. Because he would break down these like complex subjects and make them real bite-sized for a quitter like myself. I quit college. I mean, I just barely got out of high school, just barely. I had to take, my senior year of high school, I had to take Spanish 1 and Spanish 2. Because every year I was taking French and I would just give up halfway through. Like, this is hard, I quit. And I failed French, then I failed it again, then I failed it again. My senior year, I had to take 2 languages. And you had to take Spanish 1 and Spanish 2. And I cheated my way through that. So just quitter. But I'm listening to Jim Rohn. He would just say stuff like, he would have a philosophy like, what does a kid do with $1? Okay. Right? He said most kids get $1 and they spend the whole dollar. And he said when that kid gets older, they keep spending the whole dollar, but the dollar is now a paycheck and they'll just spend their whole paycheck. But it started because they spent the whole dollar. And he's like, yo, I teach these kids, look, take 10 cents out of that dollar, put it somewhere. Take another 10 cents, put it somewhere. 10 cents, put it somewhere. He said, I tell the kids, you could spend 70 cents out of any dollar that you have.
And then be fine. And then they get their paycheck and now they're only spending 70 cents.
It was crazy. When I heard that, I'm taking my tips home from Cheesecake Factory and I'm like, oh, I only spend 70%. So I started like taking 30%. I don't even know what I'm gonna do with this money right here.
Yeah.
But this is what successful people do. I'm gonna do it. So I only spent 70, and it just became a habit. Then I just get in that environment and I'm thinking differently. And a lot of people ask, well, what do you have to do with your friends when they don't trust and believe? It was just, I was listening to Jim Rohn. He was my environment every day, all day, on my way to work, coming from work, all that. And then for some reason, it wasn't that Jim Rohn said, leave your friends. It was just the information he was telling me made me uncomfortable. And I'm just starting to look around like, yo, are we gonna just drink again? What are we gonna do after we drink? Nothing? Are we going to the club again? I just got uncomfortable because that environment just changed me.
I want to ask a simple question of like how you got around new friends. But I think the bigger question though is, how does a quitter become a millionaire?
One, again, it was just feeding my mind. I believe it's all in your mind, right? So again, I didn't leave my friends. I just invited them to work with me. So I'm starting to build this t-shirt brand. And my friend's like, yo, let's go hang out. Let's go to the club. I'm like, I got to work on these t-shirt designs. You should come over. Come over. Let's kick it. Let's build this joint out. They're like, nah, I'm good. And then eventually they stopped calling me to go out.
But it sounds like though you found something else that you were more excited about.
Absolutely.
And something that you didn't want to quit. Did you ever just think about quitting the t-shirt?
Absolutely.
So what made you stay in that?
Because I realized I was a quitter. And I realized this is the moment. I feel it. Oh, crap. It's happening again. It's happening again. I feel it. Oh, I want to quit. And then I remember I told myself, then I'd hear Jim Rohn's voice in my head. Before I was listening to like these personal development CDs, I would hear my friend's voice in my head if I want to quit. They'd be like, yo, it's okay. It's cool. Like, it was almost even better because they would give me sympathy and I loved the sympathy. And then I say, man, they don't want to buy my product. And then I can get in this conversation with my friend like, yo, yeah, man, people cheat, bro. Ain't nobody buying stuff right now. Look at the economy. And that made me feel better. But like once you realize I have a problem, like Alcoholics Anonymous, when you have you have to first say I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And I guess that goes against people's affirmations, but you first have to say, I am an alcoholic. So I told myself, I am a quitter. You know what? The next time I feel like quitting something, I'm just not going to do it. I'm just going to keep going. And that worked for me.
That's crazy. So, like, what's crazy about it for me is the mindset part of it. Like, you kind of just immediately shifted your mindset. But then also it sounds like a big part of this is like, you can't be around people that justify your failure.
Oh, for sure.
Because if you're around other people that justify your failure, then you'll keep failing.
Yeah, and I realized like when I started listening to these personal development CDs, for some reason, don't ask me why, I started connecting with other people that were in the personal development. So when did you start trading?
I've been trading since 2010.
2010?
Yeah.
So like 2008, 9, did you know other people that were trading?
No.
So 2011, 12, did you know other people that was trading?
Yeah.
You were trading. For some reason, whatever you do, you'll find, you know other videographers? Of course. It just, whatever you get into, you'll like find other people and that becomes your circle. Yeah. So when I was making $30,000 a year, everybody around me was making about $30,000 a year. Some were making 40, some were making 25, but around the same. When I became an author, for some reason, I just ran into all these people that are authors. When I got into personal development, I ran into all these people that had these ideas and dreams and visions. And I'm saying at work, like, yo, you gotta listen to this guy, Jim Rohn. One of my coworkers like, yo, you listen to Jim Rohn? Oh, me too. Look, my mentor put me on. I'm like, yo, what you do outside of here? And we start having a conversation and we start hanging out because we got the similar mindset. I never called my friends and was like, yo, I'm cutting y'all off.
It just happened. Now let's switch. So you start selling shirts and then you start What was it? Oh, you opened up an event space. When did that happen?
That was 2017. So I left the Cheesecake Factory October 2012.
Okay.
So I built this t-shirt brand. I'm doing this thing consistently for 2.5 years. I made enough money to leave the Cheesecake Factory. And then I opened up a kiosk and I'm just there all the time. But I'm an entrepreneur and I'm making money. Then I opened another kiosk the next year in the same mall. And then I opened a store in South DeKalb Mall. So at this point I got 2 kiosks and a store.
Okay.
But then the mall, like a few months later, took the store away because a bigger store wanted to take my spot.
Okay.
It was crazy. But when I opened the store, the second kiosk I closed down. I was like, I don't need it anymore. But then they took the store away. Now I'm back to 1 kiosk.
Dang. So now what? So how did that impact you?
Very positively, because I'm running these businesses, but I always knew I wanted to write this book. So when they took the store away, I had more time to write the book because I didn't want to just let my employees go. I had more time to write the book, finish the book, start putting the book out, and got into the education speaking space.
Wait, so when they closed down the store, you didn't let your employees go? So what did they do?
Well, because I still had the kiosk, I didn't want to like go back to me working all the hours. So we opened the kiosk, and now that I have my book, we started doing vending. So some of those employees just came to the vending with me.
Sorry, so did you self-publish the book?
Yeah, yep, self-publish, yep.
And what had made you decide you wanted to write the book?
E.T. told me I need to write a book. CJ told me I need to write a book. And then I'm like, yo, all these people write books. I'm gonna write a book. I'm in the environment, right? And then what's crazy is every time I see CJ's like, yo, how's the book going? And now there's an accountability. It's uncool to say I'm not doing it anymore. Like there's pressure now, just in that it's not cool to quit here, right?
What I'm understanding is as long as I have like an expectation for you, then you'll keep going.
100%.
But when you don't have an expectation, then it's not that important.
Exactly. That's why I say I'm the king of podcasting. Now, I am not, so like who measures that, right? Like who,
Yeah.
I'm not number 1 on the charts. I don't have the biggest podcast in the world. I don't have the most listenership. But if I say something about myself, other people start to believe it. And then now they're waiting for it to come true. No one's ever checked me and said, hold on, you're not the king of podcasting. But somebody asked me like, yo, are you a best-selling author? I said, yeah. They said, on what books? I was like, I'm like really the best-selling author of me and my friends, the best one of my family.
Sounds like best-selling to me.
Oh, 100%. I see myself in a certain way. And I tell people, but not in a braggadocious way. I say it inadvertently so that Teri can hold me accountable. What's the first thing you said to me today? He's like, yo, how's that 10,000 going?
Yeah.
We talked about the 10,000. What if I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna hit 10,000. I think we're gonna go to 2,000 people in my community.
I'd be like, okay, so how's that 10,000?
Right, exactly.
For you can think all you want, but that's 10,000.
Exactly. I can't get any, I know I can't say that to you. It's uncool to say that. I have another circle where it's cool to like limit your goal. Yeah, man, be more realistic. So.
That's so true. Take me back though, and then we'll come forward because I want to know how you got to be a millionaire. But take me back to when the store shut down. Did you feel like a loser or a failure, or like what was going through your head when that happened?
I was angry because I felt like the mall lied to me. That's a long, pointless story, but at the time, I was angry for a second, but I thought about it, and I said, now is the perfect time to finish my book.
Yeah. So you just use the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The reason why I think that's important is because before you said that you were a quitter, now you have a real excuse to quit.
100%.
You're like, nope, I'm not going to quit this time.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go do something different.
But it's still not cool in an environment to quit, no matter what.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest component to your success is your environment. What your environment will and will not allow you to do.
That's good. Now fast forward.
Yeah.
So you have the book and you have the 1 kiosk. Now what happened?
I have the book. I start teaching and speaking, and even before that, I just had a had a passion for like teaching people entrepreneurship. Not necessarily, you know, how you can make X amount of dollars in, you know, 30 days. That wasn't my thing. It was just, I'm really big on community. So when I left the Cheesecake Factory, people kept asking me, hey man, how'd you build a t-shirt brand? How'd you build a t-shirt brand? And I just tell people, I just tell them. And I was like, well, you know, there are a lot of people that are interested in this whole entrepreneurial thing. I'm gonna do like a workshop where I bring people together and we're gonna talk about entrepreneurship. So I've been doing that since 2011, doing workshops in the city. We'll find like a bar and lounge or something like that. And it might be a slow Wednesday or Thursday. I'm like, yo, can we come in here and do this event? I wasn't even charging tickets. And then I started charging tickets like $10 or something like that. And I'll make a deal with the restaurant, like, all right, well, I'll have a percentage of bar sales or something like that. But I just been doing these events of gathering people together and introducing them to other cool people who are successful. Yeah. And I've been doing that just for the longest. So I got in that space of community building. And then I started this call called the Meeting of the Minds, where it was midnight on every Monday. Monday, every midnight. Okay. Meeting of the Minds. Like a call. We didn't even have Zoom back then. It was just a conference call. And what I would do is there would be a topic. I create a flyer and there's a topic of the call. And I just wanted to see how many people came on. So we were doing these, like maybe 30 people jumped on and 50 and 100. We wound up with like, I don't know, there was like 600-700 people joining these calls every single Monday because I'd have a special guest speaker at midnight now. And we did.
I'm surprised. Like, I'm a night owl, but you like the morning. So you were doing this at midnight?
Yeah, I mean, but at that point, I'm building this Sleep is for Suckers t-shirt brand, so I'm up till 3 o'clock in the morning at this point. True, okay. This is before husbanding and fathering. You know what I mean? That was before them days. But we did it literally every single Monday for 2 years. Wow. We did not skip a Monday. I'm talking about 104 Mondays in a row.
What did you learn during that season?
I really like community. I really like the gathering of people. No money. It wasn't like a fee or anything like that. I didn't do it to sell t-shirts. It was like, I don't really know why I did it. It wasn't a business model attached to it. It was just, I love the gathering of people.
I was going to say, you must have loved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were there a certain group of people that would come every time? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Really building community, knowing each other's lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What was the group messaging community that people used to use? Do you remember? It was called something.
There was a Messenger, WhatsApp.
Not WhatsApp, GroupMe.
Yeah. GroupMe.
And we had like hundreds of people in the GroupMe. I'm like, yo, if you want to come, if you want to be on a call, join the GroupMe. And there's conversation in the GroupMe. But there wasn't a business model.
Now, did that lead you to be a millionaire or no? How did that go?
I believe so, because at this point, I'm hosting other people. I'm like, yo, Teri, would you jump on my call? I'm like, all right, cool. Hey, y'all, we got Teri here, and I'm going to ask a few questions, or you have to do a presentation. Sometimes it was Q&A. So I think I went in that direction for 2 years, and then I started doing the conference, and we had like 550 people at the conference.
And the conference was before the podcast, right?
Yeah.
So when did you start the conference?
Well, the podcast was because of the conference. Okay. So my whole theory was, I wasn't calling it a podcast. I didn't know what a podcast was. But here was my rationale. I'm thinking as an entrepreneur. I'm doing a conference. I want to get people there. How can I get people there? Mm-hmm. If you're going to be a speaker, I was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to interview Teri. Get to know your story, and I'll promote the interview. Because if the people that are listening to the interview like the interview and they like Teri, they're going to come to the conference. So you'll see it, like them earlier episodes, you'll hear, all right, guys, we just wrapped up with Teri. Make sure you're at the conference, April 3rd and 4th. It's going down, social proof. That was the pitch, because that was the only reason I was doing the interview.
Yeah.
That was it.
Just to promote the conference.
Just to promote the conference.
And then when did you decide to move further into podcasting?
Because we had a lot of episodes. And after the conference, I would just stop doing interviews, obviously. Then we had another one coming up. So we started interviews again. And I was sitting down with Rashad and Troy from Earn Your Leisure. And we all went to lunch. And Troy said something to me. We were eating, ironically, at the Cheesecake Factory. Unrelated thing, is we just happened to be there. But he said, man, I like your interviews. I watch some of your stuff. I'm like, yo, this is dope. Because they're podcasters at this point. They're like, we like your show. He said, you're just not consistent enough. And then just went back to eating his food. And I took it personally. Because he didn't say it like, at least this is how I took it. He didn't say it to shame me or anything like that. But I took it as him not saying my podcast is inconsistent, but you are an inconsistent person. Which reminded me of the days of the Cheesecake Factory. Oh, crap, I'm quitting again.
Yeah.
This was 2018, 19. I said, oh, I'm a quitter again. So I go on my morning meetup. We have the morning meetup at the time. I'm going on a morning meetup call, and I'm like, yo, I'm going to do this podcast consistently. If I don't drop an episode every single Monday, I'm going to come on this call and give away $500. I never had to give away the $500. But I didn't like it. It was like, I'm a quitter again. So I just kept going.
Now, in that moment, like, how did you then build out the podcast? Like, because in order to have it be consistent, like, what effort had to go into making it consistent?
Good. So we picked a day that we were going to record every single week.
Okay.
And so every Wednesday we'll just record. And I'll invite everybody over, come, get on the podcast, let's record. Moving into the millionaire thing.
Okay.
I'm doing the podcast because I like the podcast. I'm not even thinking about money. I'm like 50 something episodes in. I'm not even thinking about making money from it.
You're just trying to be consistent.
I just want to be consistent. I want to have a dope show. I like the fact that people say, hey, that was an amazing show. I like that.
Okay.
And then Nehemiah Davis, he came one day and he said, you're not making no money off the podcast? I was like, nah, not right now. Well, I kind of do because it leads people into other stuff. He said, why? He said, what, you don't like money or something? And this is my friend. Again, I feel disrespected. I'm like, yo, who are you talking to, bro? Like, he said, what, you don't like money or something? I'm like, yeah, I do. He said, why don't you make any money off of this? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how, really. And he said, yo, all these people, when they have like a course, you don't do no affiliate? I said, what? He said, an affiliate. Like, if you sell the course, you make some money and they make some money. So the next person that came on to add a course, I said, do you have an affiliate? What's that, affiliate? They're like, affiliate? Yes, I got an affiliate. So we did the interview and then I made some affiliate money. I said, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so I can make money for the same. We made hundreds of thousands from your affiliate. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And then I was on live one day and I said, I'm just thinking about money now because these are the people that are a Neo and Him 500 and Wall Street Chapter. All these people are making all this money. And I'm like, I need to get in that space. So now I'm just thinking about it now. Yeah. I'm like, how can I make some money? I did a live one day. Like, yo, anybody got a product or service? I'm going to promote it on the podcast. And I'm literally asking them how much I should charge on live.
What did they say?
Somebody said like 500. Somebody said 2,000. Somebody said 1,500. And I'm reading. I'm just like, all right, 500. Okay. Somebody said 1,500. I said 1,500. Words Taylor, my boy, he said, yo, I give you 1,500 right now. I said, really? He said, yeah. He's like, yo, what's your Cash App? I gave him my Cash App. He sent me $1,500. I said, oh, I have value. This platform has value now.
Yes.
It never stopped. I'm thinking, how can I monetize? But again, it was the environment. If it wasn't for like me being around people who are monetizing everything they do, I thought when you do a free webinar, it's for philanthropy. I thought, yo, I'm about to do this free webinar. Y'all just come for free. I'm like, yo, that's cool, man. You just giving people the game. I didn't know that there will always be an offer then.
See, the problem is you think that it's okay to give other people something for free, but you don't think about the fact that it's costing you something.
For sure.
Like, even as speakers, it's costing us time. It's costing us, like, our knowledge. It's costing us something. And every time you keep, and this is not a bad thing, it's just a different business model. But we give everything away for free, and it keeps costing and costing and costing us. We deplete ourselves.
Yeah,
and
100%.
there's nothing that's pouring back into us.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You know what's crazy though? Even doing things for free, I didn't feel depleted. I just felt like that's the way
You're supposed to be.
it was supposed to be. I like it. I like pouring into people. This is cool. But I didn't realize it's taking away from family. It's taking away from other things that I want to do. And I'm doing them a disservice by not allowing them to invest in themselves. So once I got that mindset shift, I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
This is new.
Now, who's in your circle now that's taking you to the next level? Because you said it's about environment.
Teri. Teri's here, y'all. So yes, for short, Teri, Wall Street Trapper, Neo, him 500. There's a lot of them, man. My man Mike Sims. I have some amazing people in the circle. And I think it's an advantage being in Atlanta because we all lit. My man Pushman Mitch. Like it's just we got some really cool people. Jeremy Anderson.
Nice community here.
Yeah.
Like it's nice to be able to look out and say, oh, that's my brother and he's doing well.
Yeah.
And you don't gotta look somewhere else. It's like, no, we all right here.
Let me tell you what I turned it up to. This was crazy. We're all in the mall. We're in Phipps. Neo, I think 5 was there. And Pushman Mitch, I think Maddie came a little later. But I remember we're all actually in Saks. And I think Neo went and got some shoes. And I was so excited because I had my first 6-figure month. You have no idea.
It does feel good.
I couldn't wait to tell everybody because I just got the calculations. I'm like, yo, I made 6 figures. And this is like, for me, like hustling and monetizing podcasts, all that kind of stuff. And I think it was Pushman Mitch. He said, this is your first one? Not even in an arrogant way, like you really out of curiosity. He's like, oh, well, I thought you'd been doing that. Well, congratulations. I said, bruh.
Made you feel some kind of way?
I felt some type of way because it's normal for them. I said, oh, this is what we're doing? Mm-hmm. All right, got it.
That's actually how I felt on my first $1 million month. Like my friends were making $1 million months. I saw Rachel Rodgers made it and Danielle Leslie made it and they told their whole email list and I got an email my first $1 million month and I was like, oh, this is what we doing? Yeah. So then the next month I go, actually it was like 2 or 3 months later because I had to go strategize and figure out like how I'm going to do this. And then I hit $1 million month and it was like, and then actually I kept making $1 million months and it was like, oh, I just needed to know it was possible.
Yeah.
Once I could see that somebody else had done it and they looked like me, then it was like, oh, we can figure out a way.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I think that's one of the reasons why I keep sharing, so other people know that where I am is possible for them.
Yeah, they need to know.
So that they can get there.
They need to know. That was a wild experience. Can you imagine me being super excited to share some news and they're not excited because that's regular? Mm-hmm. Like, oh, congratulations, man. That's battery in my back now.
Did you still share? Because after one person like acts like it's not their thing, sometimes you like don't say nothing.
I didn't share. But when I had my first $1 million month, I said it with less excitement. Just in case I was going to get judged. I'm like, yeah, man, $1 million month, it's cool. And it's like, yo, congrats. I'm like, all right, great, I can celebrate.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So how did you feel hitting that marker? So you had a 6-figure mark, and then and so last year was the first $1 million year. Is that right?
Yeah, we did multiple last year.
Right.
Yeah, we did multiple, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so how did you feel going from like a 6-figure month to $1 million? I would say more than $1 million in a year, and then $1 million a month.
Yeah. Believe it or not, it wasn't as exciting as I thought it would be because it's not really anything, based on like my lifestyle and what we do, it's not anything I can do with that extra money that I wasn't doing anyway. It just becomes a marker, not for the money, but to see my own potential. So it's not like, yo, I got to get this money so that I can have the money. I got to get the money because I know it's possible for me to make it. The money just helps me keep score and measure how much of my potential I'm using. Make sense? So it's not even, I do have a financial goal this year, but I need 10,000 people in my community. And how do I need the number. I need the number of people so I can measure it. It just helps me keep score. But it wasn't like super exciting. It was just, well, I need to do that again. Let's just do that again. Yeah.
I feel you. When I hit my first million, it was a little bit of a letdown. I think I had in my head that it was going to be something really big, but then when it happened, like my mom and I actually, my mom had visited me. I wanted to show her that I had made this million, but like it kept not happening. Like I was just like, okay, nobody's buying. I need just one more person to buy this. And then, so I felt like, well, this is not going to happen. There was a movie going on in the park. And I felt so defeated. I was like, you know what? Let's just go sit and watch this movie. And then finally, it happens. I open my phone and I'm like, oh, I'm at $1 million. So I show her, and then we're like, what do we do? So we try to go to a place and drink, like get a drink, but neither one of us drink. But we just assume that that's what people do when they celebrate. So we ask them to give us something, and we're like, y'all make it something fruity. We tasted that thing. It was so disgusting. We're like, man.
Ruined the experience.
We had to do to celebrate.
Right.
It was like, okay, well, I guess that was cool.
Right.
Good thing we tried it like this.
Right. See, it's different when you hit the lottery, like where you don't have anything, and then you hit the lottery, you're like, yo. But if you made 800,000 or 900,000 or 700,000, then you make an extra make $1 million. It's like, I mean, that's what's up. Hit my goal. Let's do it. Great. But it's not, you feel what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
I do. And some people are going to listen to this conversation. They're going to feel like, well, they're not grateful for what they have.
For those people, how do you feel when you go from 50,000 a year and you get a promotion and now you're making 58,000? It's not like you're jumping out of your shoes. You're like, yes, okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's incremental growth. You don't like jump at it. Oh, I'm making 60 now from 50. I'm making an extra $1,000 a month. It's up.
True.
You feel me? After taxes, it's like.
What do you think would excite you now?
What would excite me now? I am actually looking for that, if I'm being honest. Since my mother passed, I haven't experienced like I'm trying to find honestly that joy again. I'm okay, but I don't know what it is, and I'm trying to put my finger on it, and I guess I need a therapist. But I'm trying to find what really, really makes me happy, because it's not money. It's not like hitting the goals. I mean, it's cool. Obviously, you want to hit the goals. I don't know. That's a really good question.
I understand it though, because after a while, it's right. Money doesn't make you happy.
Yeah.
And after you've been doing it for a little while, then it kind of loses its excitement and joy. So then you are kind of looking like, okay, well, what else is there?
What else is there?
Is it family? Is it this? Like, what's the next passion project?
Yeah.
Now, I know that you do like to give and give away, and there's like some projects, like nonprofit projects that you've been thinking about.
Yeah.
Tell me about those.
Teaching kids entrepreneurship has always been a passion of mine. We've been going to school since probably 2011, 2012. Just teaching kids entrepreneurship, that really, really gives me joy, because we didn't have anybody to teach us. And coming in our school looking the way we look just like them. We don't have to be a rapper. We don't have to be a ball player. It's like a regular person that wears the same sneakers I wear. Seeing somebody like that looks like me, it's powerful. I went to the bank maybe a couple months ago, and this happens to me often, but he was like, man, you spoke to my high school class and I graduated, and like I'm on my entrepreneurial journey now. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Yeah. So I'm definitely getting back into schools. I'm looking to build out an entrepreneurship facility with our nonprofit. And just to come teach the kids, like all the kids in the neighborhood, you want to be paired with mentors, things of that nature, come on through.
And are you guys building community again too now that COVID's done?
Well, we never stopped building community.
Okay.
In terms of like a community of people.
Just in general, yeah.
Oh yeah, our morning meetup is just, we meet every morning. Every single morning.
So I was on one, and you know I'm not a morning person, but I still loved it.
Good.
Like, so what's the goals for morning meetup?
I'm on a community of 10,000 people. Yeah, we're bumping up on 1,000, but obviously with a membership community, it's monthly. So you have to bring people into the community faster than they leave. Because some people just leave for whatever reason, just dormant. I don't want to wake up in the morning. I don't know, right? Yeah. But the objective is 10,000 people in the morning meetup, and they're right now having their own meetups around the country with the amount that we have. But I want them to put on their own conferences and not even have to invite me.
Wow.
Like I want them to be just in the community. Imagine if there's a community of 10,000 people. We're on the call every single morning, and you release a t-shirt brand. And you say, hey guys, we just dropped this t-shirt brand. And a small percentage of those people buy. You have 100 new sales or even 20 new sales. That's huge for a small entrepreneur, just by being in the community.
Yeah.
So we're actually, we do like meetups a couple times a year. We did our first one last year. We're doing another one coming up now. And they just get to come. I'm not selling tickets. They don't got to buy nothing. You can't buy a ticket to it. You just have to be in the community. So I would love to just only rock with my community for the rest of my life.
What is it like to be David behind the scenes? So what is it like to be a father and a husband behind the scenes of a big business?
It is beautiful. It is beautiful. Thanks to God, I've been able to build my business in such a way that it's not super demanding of me. So I spend an hour on a morning meetup every morning. That's my business. Wednesdays, I do all my podcasting. And the rest of the week is either strategizing, thinking, or, I've been lately we take our daughter to school, or my wife takes my daughter to school. She comes back to the house, and I just spend the day with my wife and my baby, and they just make their rounds with me. We eat lunch. It's just really, really cool. It's not like I have to clock into anywhere. So it is beautiful. It is it's a challenge. It's personal development. I'm learning a lot about myself. Not being so selfish because it's always been just me, but now I have other people to consider and other people to think about. Just because I can hang out with my friends, or just because I can go on a trip with my friends, doesn't mean I should. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's I'm becoming more mature. Yeah.
As a wife, what does it take to be a wife of a millionaire guy?
You gotta ask her. I don't know. She's doing a great job though, managing me though.
Well, I'm gonna flip it in a second and talk about to be the husband part. But so like what? Yeah, actually answer the question.
So what's it like? I think it could be frustrating. So for instance, she's not like your traditional entrepreneur like that. And I am. And I have not figured out a way to incorporate my wife in this business, even though I know she wants to, but I haven't figured out a way to separate the two between work and husband. Or I haven't figured out a way to be patient as she's learning entrepreneurship. So I think it's cool because she knows 100% that I'm not out there doing nothing crazy. I'm not even flirting with no chicks or nothing like that. She knows that 100% about me. She doesn't have to worry about me in that space. So I think she would say, well, she says it all the time, that I'm an amazing husband and an amazing father. And she thinks so. And I'm still trying to feel that I am. I'm still trying. It's new for me. So it's kind of awkward. How do I balance out business and family? And I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still getting my legs under me on that. So.
And y'all been married 5 years?
We have been married 3 years. since 2018, so it's about to be 4 years. Okay. So about 3.5 now, yeah.
What are some of the biggest things you learned about yourself? You told us one about kind of being selfish, but like, what has this taught you about yourself?
It's taught me that that I have a long way to go in terms of being a man. Like, you think you're a man because you can build a business, or, you know, before, especially when it comes to music and movies, you think you're a man if you're getting all the chicks and you got the cars and all that kind of stuff. But becoming a man is a lot more than that. How do I take care of another person's feelings? You know what I mean?
Yep.
How do I shut it off and be like present? Because you might say, oh, well, Dave's a great father, but I'm with my baby, but I'm on my phone. I'm not present, right? So this is a process that I'm learning through, and my wife will say I'm doing really, really good because I'm more conscious of it now, right? But I have a long way to go. A long way to go. Yeah, so.
Anything that you can speak to this camera, okay. Anything you would tell other men that are entrepreneurs, or advice about how to take care of work and family?
I would say find out what's most important to you. You got to really spend time figuring out what's most important. Before I, kind of had a wife and a child, I said my goal is to be a billionaire. But that's no longer my goal, because what you have to do and the time and dedication and the energy and the things you have to build to become a billionaire, I'm not willing to put in that type of work. I would much rather be comfortable with my family, make enough money that we can have experiences, but that's not my focus right now. So that might be your focus, to be recognized in the world book of people who became billionaires, or I'm just saying you really need to identify what you want out of life and spend time writing it down and really thinking, because off the top of your head, the answer that you're giving is probably not what you really want. It's probably been influenced by some things that you saw. Yeah. So spend some time figuring that out. I want to be an A1 father, A1 husband. I want to be the father that my baby brags about. I want to be the person when my wife is with her friends, like, she can't stop talking about her husband.
I love that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I actually feel like we should end on that. That's so good. It's about like prioritizing what you want your life to look like, and not just the goals. Yeah.
But even the thing that you want, I still make immature decisions. You know what I mean? So I want it, but that's why I say I have such a long way to go. Like, this is a developmental process, and I'm just committed to the commitment of like becoming the person who can do that stuff that I just talked about. I'm not yet there. But I feel like if you identify who you want to become, you just continue to take steps towards it. We're not going to be here long.
Not long at all.
Yeah. So.
Thank you, David. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This is good. I don't really get asked questions. I normally do the question asking.
Right.
So this was amazing. Yeah, this is, you got a whole nother Oprah vibe. You got me. I don't be talking about that stuff on podcasts.
Yay. Yes. Challenge accepted.
Yeah, keep doing this. Keep doing this. These are the conversations I think people really need to hear.
Yeah, the behind the scenes and how you got here.
Yeah.
What's cool too is, like you said, you're always the interviewer. So it's nice to hear, well, what is he really thinking?
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks. This is like therapy for me. I feel like I was at a therapy session. So this is good.
I love you so much.
You're amazing. Love you too,
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely.